Hello there, this is Shao, and welcome to today's episode of... In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create the wah effect without having a wah pedal. For those who are new, if you haven't seen my video on automation, it's called Noise Risers and Wobble Bass, please go do so. And remember that if you're lost, check the tutorial archive. With that out of the way, let's get started.
Spectral Glide.
If you've ever heard the sad trombone, Google it, I'm sure you know it, then you've heard an effect known as a spectral glide. This is where the vowel quality of a sound changes over time. In this case, it's going from an ooh sound to an ah sound, like ooh-ah. And now you're probably thinking, this sounds an awful lot like the wah effect for a guitar. Well, they're both spectral glides, but a guitar's wah effect is achieved using a wah pedal. This imparts the vowel characteristics onto the tone of the guitar. The guitarist controls the movement of the glide using their foot, like a second musical instrument. But what if you don't have a wah pedal but want to create that effect? Well, there's a way to make that kind of sound using the plugins in your DAW. Let me show you. So here's a guitar sample I recorded. Quick tip before we get started, put a noise gate at the start of the signal path when working with guitars. That helps keep them clean. Now the wah effect is actually really easy to make. You start with a parametric EQ. Then you change the filter type of one of the bands. You can use a high-pass filter, a low-pass filter, or my personal favorite for this, a bandpass filter. Here we go. It's basically a combination high-pass and low-pass filter. It rolls off everything above and below the cutoff so that only a narrow band of frequencies can pass through, hence bandpass. Whatever you choose, make sure it has a high resonance or a narrow bandwidth, like this filter here. It makes the vowel character much more pronounced. Can't really hear very much right now, so bear with me. Next, you automate the filter cutoff. This is the important part. Be sure the filter cutoff stays between about 400 Hz and about 2 kHz. Any lower or higher than that, and it starts to sound weird and less wah-like. I already created an automation clip for this. Let me pull that up real quick. There we go. Notice the shapes of the peaks. I curve the lines up like this when the filter is going down and kept them straight while it's going up. I've found that this sort of shark fin shape makes for a more foot-like filter movement. As I've mentioned before, the wah pedal is controlled by your foot, and I found that this sounds more like that kind of movement, which I think sounds a bit more natural. So let's give it a listen. It's already starting to sound pretty wah-like. Next, you distort the crap out of it. I also added some reverb and delay for a little character. Last, you add a cabinet simulator. Sounds pretty good in my opinion. It's quite easy to turn the wah on and off too. Good if you want it to only be playing for, say, part of a song. Now, you can experiment with the EQ to get some different sounds. We're currently using a bandpass filter. Here's how it sounds with a low-pass filter. And now with a high-pass filter. You can play around with the filter's steepness and resonance to achieve some cool tones. Also try putting the EQ before or after the distortion. This can yield some interesting results. You can even apply this effect to synthesizers. Here's the same thing using a supersaw. Let's listen dry first. And then we add the effects. personally find that the bandpass filter sounds the best for synthesizers in this case. So there you have it, the wah effect for guitar and synthesizer created for free in your DAW. Anyway, that's about it for this tutorial. If you liked what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions about the wah effect, comment below. I'm always open for questions. And as always, if you'd like to request a VoxFX tutorial, please send me a message. Remember, if it's talky, I can talk about it. Next time, I'll explain what makes a sound voice-like, and use that to explain formant filtering. Until then, have fun and keep making sound. VoxFX. There we go. And wait, wrong thing. And